The world is an amazing place. It needs plants and animals to live in harmony, for it to live. One very important part of the world is water. Without water, plants wouldn't be able to live, neither would animals. Us humans couldn't live, and we couldn't grow any food for us to eat either. Water is one of the most important parts of our lives. You may think that water just stays on the ground, ready for us to drink and use, but actually, water goes through a journey all of the time. Let's take rain, for example. Sometimes we will have a day during the week where we see a lot of clouds up in the sky. Some of them even look darker than the others, a little gray almost. It's also windy out. Then, all of a sudden, boom! Rain! Little droplets of water are falling from the sky. This rain is very important because it helps us water our crops, prevents wildfires, and keeps our rivers and lakes full. When we don't get enough rain, the earth is dry and inhospitable. When we get too much, we get floods. But when we get the right amount, what happens to the rain and the water after it falls? Lots of it goes into the ground to feed the plants. Some of it dribbles downward until it finds a puddle, river, or lake to live in. Then, some of it, and eventually all of it, decides that it wants to be rain once again. That water does something called evaporation. Evaporation is when water that has fallen to the ground goes back up to the sky into the clouds in something called water vapor. This happens especially on hot days. Think of making pasta. First you have to boil the water for the pasta, right? But when the water is boiling, you notice a tiny cloud coming up from the pot and going up into the air until it disappears. That is the water leaving the pot and going up into the air. The water will also leave if you just set it out in a bowl on the counter for a few days. It will take much longer than it would if you were boiling it, but eventually all the water would have gone back up into the air in water vapor. Once the water has made it back up to the sky, it goes through condensation. Condensation is when the water stops being vapor and goes back into being regular water. When enough vapor has turned back into water, it starts to rain again. Then the whole cycle starts back over. This whole process is called the water cycle, and it's very important to our planet.